Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Good morning, good evening, wherever you are. Scott Luton, Rod Lee, and Marina Rabinek with you right here on Supply Chain Now. Welcome, Marina, Rod. How we doing?
Good morning. I'm doing awesome. It is 9 a.m. on the West Coast. I feel like a television presenter. Good morning, and it's 9 a.m. on the West Coast. How are you today?
Covering the West Coast beat like dew on your front lawn. Hey, Rod, how about you? How you doing?
I
Doing
love
great.
that.
I'm only an hour behind, so I'm not as it's not as early, but the day got started pretty early here, but doing great.
Well, as if these two don't bring enough energy and know-how to the conversation, we're going to swoosh in one more late addition to the conversation. Jermaine Cohen, why don't you join us? Hey, Jermaine, how you doing?
Hey, Scott. Thanks for having me.
Well, great to see you here. And I'm going to formally introduce each of y'all in just a second. But folks, we've got a Veteran Voices takeover here today on Supply Chain Now. So welcome to a very special live stream as we celebrate and recognize Veterans Day 2021. Okay, so Rod, Marina, and Jermaine, let me share with y'all who these repeat guests are. We're great to have them back here on Supply Chain Now. So we'll start with Marina Rabinek, who is founder and director of the Military Women's Collective. We're going to learn more about that momentarily. We also have Rod Lee and Jermaine Cohen. Both are co-founders of Project VET, which we're going to talk about that and the Veterans Bowl. There we go. 2021 soon. So great to have all of y'all back. Looking forward to diving into what you're thinking about today, what you're up to, at least a couple things you're up to. All of y'all are juggling like we all are these days, but excited to have you back. So we're going to get to a fun warm-up question, Marina, Rod, and Jermaine in just a second. But hey, let's pay a few bills first. Y'all good with that?
Absolutely.
Who ya,
Always.
Bills?
Yeah, the bills don't go away, do they? But hey, folks, check out this upcoming webinar on November 18th. We're partnering up with our friends at Manhattan Associates. We're going to be talking about TMS, right? Transportation Management Systems, all the rage these days, and a cloud native TMS to boot. So y'all join us for free, 12 noon on November 18th. And then secondly, we've been fortunate to have Rod, Marina, and Jermaine. Marina on a live stream with us, and Rod and Jermaine on Veteran Voices, right? I think we're roughly 50 episodes deep in this Give Forward programming where we want to amplify the thought leadership and perspective and experiences of our veteran community. So check this one out. So this was Justin C. Pearson. It's got a pretty unique title. Proper Patriots are leaders, not shouters. You got to get creative sometimes with these podcast titles, but check it out. You can listen and subscribe to Veteran Voices wherever you get your podcast from. If we can, and big thanks to Amanda and Jada behind the scenes helping us to make the production happen. If we drop a link to this episode in the comments, please, that'd be great. Okay, with no further ado, before we get to the heavy hitting stuff, Rod, Marina, and Jermaine, I want to ask each of y'all kind of a fun warm-up question based on kind of your unique journey. And I'm going to stick in the same order. So Marina, you're like the Otis Nixon today or the Jorge Soler today of our world champion Atlanta Braves.
Okay.
Leadoff
I was
hitter.
going to say, I don't know what you're saying to me because I don't play sports ball. I don't follow sports ball. So
That's okay.
yes, I'm going to call it sports ball the whole time. So, but that's whatever you said sounds good.
Wonderful. Those are leadoff hitters at various genres of the Atlanta Braves. Of course, you're and all of ours world champions for Major League Baseball. Okay, so Marina, you're a big fan, we hear, of road trips, not just here in the States, but internationally. So give us one of your favorite road trips.
I would say my favorite road trip is going from where I live near Yokosuka Naval Base, driving to Mount Fuji, around it, basically kind of underneath another mountain to get to the lake, which is called Kawagachiko, and absolutely amazing. I can't even explain. Like I got to see there's something called the Diamond Fuji, where there's a certain time of year where the sun comes up and it sits right on the very top, kind of like you got up here, with my thing up there, my Rebel. It would be the sun sitting right on the very top of
Wow.
Fuji and just like shining like a diamond, and it was so gorgeous.
Wow. We're going to have to get some pictures. You paint such a great, pretty visual. We're going to have to get some pictures from you.
Well, I mean, I've got a bunch of,
so-
a lot of the things I've got behind me are a lot of Japanese Fuji type pictures. So.
I love it. I love it. And I love that you're a rebel. That symbol's from Star Wars. Where have I been? My head's been in a hole somewhere, evidently. All right. So I want to get to Rod and Jermaine here momentarily. You know what we forgot to do? We forgot to say hello to some of the folks that dropped in. We didn't do that. So Kendall is tuned in via Colorado, via LinkedIn. Great to see you here today, Kendall. Joseph Moretta, also he's doing some great podcast work up in the Northeast. Great to see you here, Joseph, doing also some great things in supply chain. Clay Diesel Phillips, Diesel because that engine is always running. Great to see you here today, Clay. And Ahmad is tuned in via LinkedIn. Good morning. Tell us everybody where y'all tuned in from specifically. We love the pickle in towns. We learned this morning before Marina joined us that Athens, Texas lays claim to founding or creating the hamburger. Had no idea. So speaking of Athens, Jermaine, you're in Athens, Texas now, right?
Absolutely.
So rather than ask you about hamburgers, because folks, we could probably talk for a couple of hours, right? About food. But let's talk about Texas State University, right? You were an alum of Texas State. Tell us about your favorite part of the Bobcat experience.
Go Bobcats. So my favorite part is a little bit outside of the curriculum.
Okay.
The Texas State is notorious for, just having a good time, right? But it's a good school. Don't get me wrong. There's a river that goes right through the town, and anyone who's been to San Marcos knows about Don's River. It's a river where everyone floats. You get your tubes, some beverages, whatever you like, and you float down the river. And Don is this guy. His skin looks like leather. If you ever go down there, I mean, he wears these suspenders with no shirt, shorts, and it's literally his skin looks like leather. And I hope he's still around because he was pretty old. This is back in 2008. But yeah. So my
and it's
favorite
his
part
river.
It is. It's Don's River. So it is property. You go down there, you pay $20, you float all the way down. It's the best time you'll ever have.
I love it. I love it. Hey, we're gonna have to let's see if we can grab Don for a future interview. I bet he's got some stories to
I
tell.
bet he does.
Well, thanks for sharing, Jermaine.
Inner tube floating is the
Absolutely.
best.
It is. It is easier. One of the best sports ball activities you can do for sure. Rod, I'm coming to you next, but really quick, want to say hello to
Sports ball. I see what you did there.
Michael Aver. Great to have you here today. Championship City here in ATL. You are right about that. Clay loves the sports ball that Marina's talking about. Hey, she says that's what it's called. Mohib, good morning. We drive, and he's in Wichita, the air capital of the world. We drive 1 hour to a new town around Wichita to find some burgers. Burger Junkie in Arkansas City. I bet that's Arkansas City in Kansas. He says that is the best. Sylvia, hey, appreciate that. And these three folks here, we're all very proud veterans, and we appreciate all the gratitude on days like this. Charles Walker, speaking of special veterans like the three of y'all, Charles is a dynamo. You got to follow all of these three folks, but especially Charles too on LinkedIn. A lot of good stuff. Sylvia, I am a hamburger. The real deal. So I think she's from Hamburg, Germany. So
Exactly. I was hoping you understood what the flag meant. I was like,
a lot of too much fun we're having this morning. One more. Daniel says, good morning and happy Veterans Day from Somerville, South Carolina,
South
via
Carolina.
LinkedIn. South Kakalaki is in the house here. Okay, so let's come to you now, Rod. Before we get to the heavy lifting, I want to ask you a little warm-up question here. Let's talk about your international travel, because the Air Force sent you to, I think, a variety of places. What was your favorite place?
I'm gonna take it back to Japan. It was my first duty station. I was stationed in Okinawa for 2 years. Some good memories, some not so good memories, but great culture. Probably one of the things that I'll take away is the food. Love Japanese food, and I was so excited to hear that Frisco, Texas is getting a Koko Ichibanya, which is a curry house, my favorite curry house all time. Straight out. And I know there's one in Hawaii, but it's probably not the same as the one in Okinawa. But yeah, great times in Japan.
Love it. Love it.
I'm making faces. I'm making faces, Scott, because my husband loves curry, but I'm one of those ones that absolutely does not like the Japanese curry at all.
Oh
So I
man.
was doing the Japanese. This means no go. Like you can't come here. Don't do it.
Bad juju.
Dame in Japanese is like no in a big way.
We thought you were
Sushi
throwing up
every day,
eggs
all
like
day.
Dante Hall.
That's right. Well, we'll have to dive in. I think there is a dedicated conversation we have to have around curry. But Rod, congratulations of the local establishment being set up there. You have to send some pictures to us. I want to go back to Don's River comment because Michael Aver says it sounds like some spots around here on the Chattahoochee. I agree with you, Michael.
That makes me want to sing "Way Down Yonder" on the Chattahoochee.
Right. Nice, Marina. Okay. We're having so much fun, but we got to move to a little more serious stuff, right? All three of y'all served in our country's armed forces. I want to kind of go around the horn and kind of understand what branch and kind of the gist of what you did in uniform. And Marina, let's keep the rotation. What branch did you serve in, and what'd you do?
So I am a 24-year veteran of the U.S. Navy. What did I do? The first part of it, I did more electronics type things, but the stuff that I loved the most was the stuff that I did the last 7 years or so of my career, which was the equal opportunity work. That really, stoked a fire in me of really wanting inclusiveness and belonging and wanting to take that into my veteranship. Is that a word? I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Sounds good.
I made it up.
But I love that. I love that you found, after doing probably some really complex, higher than my payroll work in the Navy, for the first, 17 years. It's really cool to hear that you spent your last 7 before you retired and joined the private sector, kind of finding what did stir your passions. And I would assume, Marina, is that, and we're going to learn more about the Military Women's Collective a little later on, but is that tied into what you're doing now?
Nobody's ever asked me that question, Scott, so thank you for that. It is because I feel that women veterans, okay, so veterans as a whole, what are we, 1% of the entire
Right.
U.S., right, that serve? Women veterans is an even smaller percentage of that already small percentage.
Right.
And there's not as many resources out there for women. And so I wanted to, add myself in there as somewhere where people could come and be able to, to feel less invisible and to feel empowered and to know that they have a voice. And that's really what Military Women's Collective is about.
Love that. Very important work. And we're going to circle back to that and dive a little bit deeper here momentarily. Same question though. I like level setting, right? I think as Marina just pointed out, how important it is to kind of understand what we all do in uniform. And Jermaine, coming to you next. What did you do? What branch and what'd you do?
I was in the Army. I did 4 years in the Army. 1 tour in Iraq, OIF-1, with the 4th Infantry Division. I was a radio comsec repair, which I was a part of Force 21, which was all the new equipment for the Army. So we really couldn't work on a whole lot of stuff because it's all under warranty. So I became more of an operator, where I was, I guess, the SME to how to use, all the new equipment that the Army was adopting and bringing on to all of their tactical vehicles. And so kind of like Marina, in some ways, I use that to kind of catapult into my next career after the Army, which is I worked as a contractor thereafter.
And we're going to talk about Project VET, but I understand the T on the end of project is for technology. So I'm assuming you're leveraging some of your background and what you did with the Army. What can you not do, or what can you do without, secure communications in the military? So I imagine you're parlaying that into some of y'all's work now.
Absolutely. And Ronnie and I are both, it's kind of funny is our backgrounds are very similar. It's highly technical. Rodney's more of a geek than I am. I don't mean that in a negative way, but he just, when it comes to technology, I send everything to him. And he just knows how to do it. I'm a pretender, right? I can see the big picture, and I like the top level of things, but we definitely wanted to incorporate technology into our service and what we do. And so we really push things like blockchain technology, and just the integration into how we can help veterans and push that forward.
Love that. All right. So Rod, he's calling you out a little bit. Sounds like all three of y'all were a lot better at math than I was, but tell us, what branch did you serve in, Rod, and what'd you do?
Yeah, so I spent 12 years active in the greatest air power in the world, the U.S. Air Force. Um, I was a nerd. They called us pointy heads. I was an avionics technician for the first 8 years of my life, working on F-15s. For the most part, that's what took me to Japan and Kadena Air Base. And then I transitioned. We were getting ready to shut down the training base in Florida. And I had a decision to make: either go to Mountain Home, Idaho, or choose a new career field. So I chose to become a training manager. Education is something that I've always had a passion for, and I got to give service back to those that were coming in, new airmen trying to learn. So that was a great opportunity to transition out of the military and keep serving.
Love that. So what was wrong with Idaho? That wasn't didn't appeal to you.
It wasn't one of my top places to go. I'll say that.
But it's so green.
That's true.
It is.
I've heard that. Hey, we're having a little fun. We're not picking anybody from Idaho, right? We all.
I'm waiting for the comments to be like, Idaho's where I'm from. I'm just waiting for it. I'm looking. I'm like,
man, did Idaho move down? That sounds like that was on the Gulf Coast, Marina. That was quite the accent.
Oh, I don't know where that came from. That was just like, I've got this voice, and then whenever I try to pretend I'm,
I love that.
Someone else, I do weird voices. I don't know.
Channeling Don from the river there. All right.
It was.
So,
River Don.
Let's keep driving. Yeah, Don's going to be the theme throughout the conversation here today, the common thread. I want to, and Rod, I'll stick with you here. I want each of y'all, if you would, to pick one veteran-related issue, right, directly or indirectly, that you believe more folks should know about. So, Rod, let's stick with you here. What would be your one?
For me, it's really the transition. If you're not as fortunate as I believe myself, Marina, to find something that you love doing while you're in the military, if you're in a job where, obviously a cop's going to relate to a cop on the outside, but there are a lot of jobs in the military that don't really transition into anything in the civilian world. And I think that's the biggest issue. And, that's one of the things at Project Vet we try to do. We try to help counsel and refine resumes for some of these people to actually kind of enforce what they did and highlight some of the skills that they possess from the work that they did in the military, even if the job itself doesn't relate to anything that they want to do.
Excellent point. And, it seems like to me, generally speaking, that corporate America, the global business community has made some strides in terms of supporting transition. But as I was just talking to someone last week, I'm sure y'all talked to plenty of folks, there's still underemployment is still a raging issue, right? And I would attribute some of that to Rod, what you're talking about, where there's not a perfectly relatable, position on the private side for what someone did in the military. So transition, we'll be talking about transition, hopefully not long, but until the job really gets done. Jermaine, what is one topic that you believe should get more airtime?
Mental health awareness. Yes, that's my my biggest staple there. And I believe that people often talk about the things in life that they struggle the most with. And so my whole push for all of this has always been to just take away some of the stigma, the negative stigmas away from seeking mental health treatment and going to these facilities and getting help. Again, when I got out of the military, and even before I went to the military, right? Like, no one was talking about mental health, and there's just a lot of layers there. And so for me, that's been the largest push. We partnered with a lot of great organizations like the Cohen Veterans Network, Warriors Research Institute. We've had conversations with NAMI. We want to bring together these resources so that veterans know where they can go to get help, and just you don't have to be ashamed about it, right? Like for years, I was kind of ashamed because we look at being mentally, or when you're physically weak or get injured, we go to the doctor or we find ways to improve. But when we're having these mental struggles, like no one says like we should be treating it the same way, but we don't.
Right.
And so right now, that's my whole mission in life. Period is to improve, my mental well-being and those around me.
I love that. And I would argue that, despite how all the loss and the hurt that the pandemic has brought across the globe, I think one of the silver linings to speaking of mental health is we're at the very least acknowledging it more and acknowledging the need more. We got a long way to go, but I think that's one of the silver linings. All right. So Marina, these are, Rod and Jermaine, we could dedicate lots of conversation and action on both of those. What would be your one thing, Marina?
I just want to say to Jermaine, like you and I should talk offline, because I went through a program that really helped me. It was a mindfulness type of thing, and there's a couple that I've done. There's am I allowed to say names, Scott? Do you care?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. Like I went through something called eMindful. I also went through something with Dr. Teresa Larson and John McCaskill. It's movement and mindfulness together. Like I said, you and I the three of us can talk offline and let's connect, because so I segued. Connection for me, connection and belonging is something that I feel like we don't talk enough about. I feel that part of the reason that we lose the 22 is because they lose that connection with their brother and sisterhood, right? You have these people that you are, for the Army, maybe it's tents, for the Air Force, and probably also tents too. For me, it was on a ship, right? You've got these people that you're living with in these small areas, and you just get close to them like family, and then all of a sudden it's gone. And you're like, well, now what do I do? I need a new tribe. I need a new family. I need a new community. And a lot of people, they don't reach out, and they don't, sorry, I'm thinking.
Yeah.
They don't reach out, and then we lose them.
Right.
And that makes me sad, because I had a friend that I was stationed with, and I found out that he committed suicide, and and I feel so strongly about the fact that I think it's because we don't set people up for success in that regard of, okay, you've been with this family of all these people, and now we're just going to throw you out to the wolves. Like, no, you give me resources so that of places I can go, like Women Veteran Network for me. Okay. Like Vets to Industry that you were talking about.
Sure.
That's what I'm trying to have Military Women's Collective be. It's to be a place that people can come to and just know that they have a tribe. And sorry. Okay. I'm done.
No, it's a very powerful perspective you shared, and we're all hate to hear about your loss, but unfortunately, to your point, 22 lives lost a day is what is estimated to suicide in the veteran community, and we cannot seemingly bridge that tragic gap, and we got to find a way. I think most veterans can, unfortunately and sadly, it's terrible, can share a similar story to what Marina shared there. And you feel guilty, right? Because you don't know if there's something that we all could have done, make a phone call, get someone help. But that's what's at stake. So Marina, I appreciate you sharing that. And I would say that what you just shared, Marina, is very related to what Jermaine and Rod shared, because your career, whether it's successful or unsuccessful, you're overemployed, unemployed, whatever, can really factor in your sense of well-being. And to Jermaine, of course, your mental health, which is a huge factor as well. So thank you, all three of y'all, for sharing. I'll share just a couple of quick comments here. I'd echo whether Amanda or Jada shared this. All three of these veterans here continue to give back and give forward and continue to serve after their years of serving the country. And I admire that about all three of y'all. Stephanie, really appreciate that. Hope this finds you well wherever you are via LinkedIn. And Charlotte, that's right. Say it again. Transition. To all three of y'all's point, I'll say, if we can wrap our arms around transition and make that more successful, to your point, Marina, man, I think we solve a lot of the things that we see, unfortunately. So a lot of good stuff there. Okay. So I want to move right along, because I want to better understand what your take is. We've talked about how important transition is. We all know how important it is to hire veterans and provide them an environment where they aren't just employed, but they can thrive and advance, right? And have that sense of belonging, Marina, and being fulfilled. So, Jermaine, I'll start with you this go round. What do you believe, if for any of our companies out there trying to get better at hiring and providing advancement opportunities for veterans, what's something you see great companies at that doing?
So a lot of great companies that are reaching out to veterans. Like, I know Rodney and we used I guess this was years ago, but there was a service called Bradley Morris. I really liked their model of how they did it, as they reached out to veterans, and you would go to this conference, and they would kind of mold, or they would look at your resume and give you a selection of different jobs that you can kind of choose from, and then you would go down and interview for them that way. There's a lot of companies out there that actually want to help veterans in similar ways, but they're hard to find. And I'm kind of segueing here, Scott, but for Project Vet, for us, part of this whole transition thing, and to kind of second what you said, Marina, is that we want to provide these networks for these veterans, these communities, to where we can provide these resources. A big thing for Project Vet for us is kind of being that arm that says, hey, look at all these resources that are out there. When it comes to nonprofits and these organizations, so many of them want to give back to veterans, but there's not a whole lot of marketing, right? People don't have marketing dollars to spend for nonprofits. So what we're trying to do, based on the network that we have and the reach that we have, is we also want to promote these businesses and organizations like yours, Marina, on our platform, to say, hey, this is where you can get these resources. Check out our website, check out what we're doing, and also, look at these people. They can help you as well.
I love that. And one of the things I heard you say there, and man, to hear Bradley Morris really took me back. I'm not sure if they're still around or not. That's no slight on anybody.
So they are, and if Jada or Amanda can put the comment that I just put, I'm telling you what it's called now. There you go. So Bradley Morris's military arm is called Recruit Military. So Bradley Morris is still around, but they have one of the biggest job boards ever. They help millions of veterans. So it's definitely a place to look.
And
Recruit. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry. Real quick. In the Dallas Institute, the Dallas Career Institute. Sorry, we're partnering with them also. So you guys, DallasCareerInstitute.org. They'll actually be at our game, or at the Legends game Friday. We can talk about that later. But they're one of our partners as well. If you're
wonderful,
in the area.
Wonderful. All right. So really quick. So companies, leaders, hiring managers listening, part of what Jermaine and Marina both spoke to is find those firms that can help you effectively engage the veteran community, right? And maybe even help give you advice on how to structure certain roles and advancement programming, so that you can't just, again, it's not just about hiring veterans. It's about making sure they're set up for success, as everyone here has spoken to. Okay, Rod, I'm going to come to you next. What would be one piece of advice you'd have?
I'd say listen to your veterans. I think that's really one of the big things that that the good companies do, right? Leaning on their veterans, because there's so much more than just a business and helping it run. It's really about the experiences and the people that make up your business. And to plug another company that I work for, so I work for the Global Cyber Alliance. They're also a nonprofit focused on cybersecurity, and we work with Craig Newmark, who is the founder of Craigslist, and he has a veteran internship. We're actually currently looking for a veteran scholar to join Global Cyber Alliance. So if you're a veteran interested in cybersecurity, learning more, please hit me up or go to GCA and plug yourself in.
Love that.
But I love the fact that, you know, we've got a few veterans in our company, Army, Marine, and we actually have a Royal Air Force member as well, who's an active pilot. She's an awesome individual that I got to meet because of this opportunity. And that's one thing that I appreciate about the company, is that they listen to their veterans, give veteran ideas and what we could be doing more for the veteran community. So
I love that. Market research is so applicable almost in anything, anywhere you go. The voice of the veteran, VOV, right? You hear about the voice of the customer all the time. Voice of the veteran is an important concept, Rod. And the Global Cybersecurity, what was that name again?
Global Cyber Alliance, or GCA. So if you look up GCA, you should be able to find, or follow me. You'll look on my profile and you can see Global
Awesome.
Cyber Alliance.
Hey, really quick, before I come to Marina, I want to share Omar says, never try to transition alone. So true. Such a great point. And Sylvia says, hey, thank you for the lead. I'm reaching out today. I'm Sylvia, who does a lot of work in the port of Charleston. She's based in Charleston, the holy city, some call it. She's looking for a logistics specialist to join my team in Charleston. What Sylvia hasn't mentioned, and she's also the queen of jam. If you ever get a batch of jam from Sylvia, you've done something really nicely. So Sylvia, great to have you here today. All right, so Marina, you're the cleanup hitter today, at least for this question. So what's one piece of advice you'd give to company leaders or hiring managers?
Another sports ball reference. I see. Okay, I see how you are. You know what Rod and Jermaine were talking about. So I'm just going to say something to Rod real quick before I answer. Rod, you have got to check out, let's see, Cyber Futures Foundation. That is, do you know Leah? And okay, I'm gonna have to connect you with Leah and Paul Cummings. So Leah's not, her last name is not Cummings, but Leah and Paul, I had them on the Warrior Women Wednesday show that I run through the Military Women's Collective page, and they're very much into cyber and tech, and a whole human cyber initiative is something that Paul goes and does as well. I really would love to connect you with them. Absolutely.
That'd be awesome.
And now Scott, to answer your question. Listen, really, I mean, there's so many things that you can do. You can create military hiring pipelines that are specific to military personnel, or TCM or TSMs, transitioning service members, right? Or veterans. Create an ERG, an employee resource group within your company where people can find that connection with other people. Like I feel so happy to be sitting here with 4 people. Like we got Chair Force, we got Army, and you all didn't put up my Go Navy Beat Army thing. Okay, you didn't. I saw you skip it. Okay, don't think I didn't see that. But no, that's. I just want people to know that they belong. There is life after the military. Like the military, especially like the Army. You guys got that "The Army Keeps Rolling Along" song, right? Y'all know that.
Caissons, right?
Yeah, it's gonna keep going even after you're gone, right? even after you've left and moved on to something else, it's still going to be there going on without you. So know that that was an amazing part of your life. And today, I celebrate that. I did 24 years of service to my country, and I'm proud of that. Yes, I had to sacrifice, I was away from my family and things like that, but I'm proud of that. And I want other people to know that they have a tribe of people that they can always reach out to. There you go.
I love that. And I think one of the most powerful things you shared there is when you exit the military, whether you like it or not, to some degree, you're starting over, right? So you got to be ready for that next chapter. And for the employers, Marina was talking about, is to make sure your veteran engagement approaches are different, and they're based on what you're hearing. And when you truly sit down to listen to the veteran community that you're looking to engage and hire and promote, you name it. So I love that. It's the voice of the veteran. Again, it's going to be another theme here. And I appreciate all of y'all taking a stab at that question. Okay. What I'd like to do is I want to talk about your initiatives, your companies, projects, you name it. And Marina, I want to take a little deeper dive. You shared, I think, thematically and to some degree about the new Military Women's Collective, which we're really excited about. I think you're waiting, if I can share, you're waiting on that official 501c3, which is a process to get through, I know. But tell us, what does and so I used to volunteer on a board that was had the nonprofit designation, and gosh, the paperwork and some of the audits and all that stuff, it can be quite a headache. But anyway, that's enough. Marina, tell us about the Military Women's Collective a little bit deeper and what it's going to do, what it does, how it's going to help.
I mean, thank you, first of all, for asking me that. Military Women's Collective, like I said a little earlier, is really about listening to women veterans, transitioning service members, and active duty women, and knowing that they have a voice and bringing that voice forward. Because sometimes women in the military can feel a little invisible because
right.
It's such a huge percentage of the military that is men, and I want women to know that they have some place to have that voice heard. And so actually, let's see, what's today? Today's Thursday, right?
Right.
The 11th. Okay, so Saturday the 20th, for anyone that is in the SoCal, San Diego, Riverside County area, I'm having a get-together, a meetup for Military Women's Collective and Vets Industry, which is another nonprofit that I volunteer with. We're having a get-together to just have that connection that we keep talking about, right? It's something that just is so, like, I don't know, heavy on my soul that we just need people to understand that there are people that are out there that want to mentor. There are people that out there that want to coach. And that's something that I do all the time. Like, I love to be a Veterati mentor. If people don't know about Veterati and or American Corporate Partners, both of them are mentorship. What am I trying to say? Mentorship places. That's not the word I was looking for, but you know
Resources.
what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Thank you. Resources, mentorship resources for those that are transitioning out. And I don't know. I really want those women veterans that didn't feel heard while they were in, to know that there is someone there for them. And that is, that's what I am. I'm that listening ear. I'm that shoulder.
Love it. And that will undoubtedly fuel their success in this next chapter, right? The support, the folks that can relate, confidence builders for sure, right? We draw from our networks in a lot of what we do out there professionally. So I love that, Marina, and let us know so we can celebrate with you when the nonprofit certification comes through. So that's awesome. And appreciate what you do with Vets to Industry. We're going to touch on them here towards the end of today's conversation. Okay, so Rod and Jermaine, both of y'all have spoken a little bit around Project Vet, right, and what that organization does. I want to kind of focus in on this Veterans Bowl. This is really cool. I used to what you don't know. I'm going to completely nerd out here, but back in the day, it was me and my brother Clay and my two cousins Derek and John. When Madden first came out, I think we ran 7 Luton Football League seasons using the the various early stage Madden games, and we kept all of our records on notebooks, all this crazy stuff. I won 2 of those 7 championships. That was hard fought.
Nice.
My brother, if he's listening, didn't win any. So Clay, how about that? I'm just kidding. Love you. All right. So Jermaine,
you straight just saying like you throwing him under the bus. The bus is like backing over him. Like, dang.
I wish, we're going to try to find those hand kept records. We had some trophies. It was so fun. It was such big nerds. But anyway, Jermaine, this is games these days, as we all know, esports. They are mainstream. I mean, folks are professional gamers making big bucks. And I love how you are using the Veterans Bowl, I believe, as a way of engaging the veteran community, and kind of touched on some of the needs all three of y'all have spoken to. But hey, that's enough of me talking. Rod, let's start with you. What is the Veterans Bowl?
Yeah, so it's exactly what you said. It's a Madden tournament that we're hosting annually. This is our second. We'll be playing on PS4, PS5, and the idea is to focus on mental health and bring in some players from both the veteran and civilian community. We want to build this as big as possible, but the focus is on mental health for everyone and how gaming can assist with that. Again, to Marina's said exactly what I wanted to say in terms of losing that community, that tribe, and we're trying to bring that back. So gamers, we're a big community, but I'm not sure about veteran gamers. So there are a lot of new esports teams for each one of the branches. And it's great to see that and using that as a tool with mental health awareness.
Love
Jermaine.
it. Yep. I'm going to come to you next, Jermaine, maybe for a little bit more commentary on. I want to share this. So Dr. Sizer is with us, Dr. Latoya Sizer. Great to have you here. I love that initiative. And she's talking, I think, about the Women's Military Collective. We'll share it with her contacts in California. Hey, love that. Appreciate that, Dr. Sizer. Thanks for tuning in. Joshua's also with us here today. He's representing and supporting the Veterans to Tech movement. I love that movement for really smart veterans out there. All right, so Rod kind of set the table a bit with the Veterans Bowl. Jermaine, what else would you add? How this is just really cool. I think anybody is eligible, right?
Absolutely. And again, back to Marina's point, is the reason that we started this it's just our Gaming for Mental Health initiative. It's essentially what it is. And it had to do with building those communities back up. Like you mentioned earlier, when I got out of the military, one of the things I missed the most was that brotherhood. I mean, we've all, seen those movies like Band of Brothers, and where you're just with these guys for such a long amount of time. And that first group of guys that I was with when I was in the Army, like we still have like a group text to this day that, we go back and forth. And outside of that, when I got into the civilian workforce, there was none of that. You know what I mean? And so part of the initiative was to figure out how to bridge those gaps. And we did further research, with some Johns Hopkins research actually confirms that the effects of mental health in gaming, right? Like building these communities for morale building, within these different veteran groups. And so that was essentially, the goal, and that's what we're aiming for.
I love it. Okay. I want to share a couple of links here. So I believe we have got Amanda and Jada in the private chat. I think we've got Project Vet's link. We've got the Military Women's Collective.org link. And then we also have more to the Veterans Bowl. I think we've got the main landing page to learn more about the Veterans Bowl. Is that what that one is, Rod and Jermaine? Okay.
Absolutely. And
Great.
that goes a little bit further. And I want to drop this in there because we partnered with this company, Award Pool, and it allows veterans and whoever to engage and answer questions and earn points and also eventually earn NFTs and even buy NFTs at some point, which is a totally different conversation. But this is the tech part that
Right.
we want to integrate into what we're doing.
Well, I got to tell you, I don't know why we had to leave just a 3-button console for the Sega Genesis. I dominated that thing. Now we're at like 27-button.
You just dated yourself so bad, Scott. Like, for real. Scott's like, oh, back in my Texas Instruments days, like,
oh
what,
gosh,
bro, what?
You can do so many things now. I mean, the hot routes back in the day, right? One of the little things you could have call a post off a curl, whatever. Nowadays, man, you can have like this defensive lineman do this and this blitz from this. I mean, it's just amazing where we've gone. So I love what y'all are doing. I love what all three of y'all are doing. But let's make sure, folks. Hey, Veterans Bowl 2021. I think is this the second one? Is that right?
Second one.
Okay. And a little sweetener here. Kevin L. Jackson, one of our favorites around here, also a U.S. Navy veteran, Marina. He used to be a naval aviator, amongst other things. A brilliant individual. He and I are going to be live streaming from the championship day, I think December 11th, right? One month from now. That's the championship, right?
Absolutely.
I'm going to be able to relive those Luton Football League days, folks. Watch out. I might have to join myself and get demolished.
You should, Scott.
Well, I'm curious if there's like PC ones too, Rod and Jermaine, because I'm not really. And first of all, how'd you get a PS5? My first question. And then second, do you have any that are PC related? Because I'm more of a PC gamer rather than a something, one of the other ones, Xbox, PS, whatever, right?
Question.
Yeah. So, we talked about trying to integrate as many people as possible. The problem is that a lot of these games don't support cross-platform integrations and whatnot. But there are other games that we want to tackle later this year. One of them being Call of Duty Warzone, and
Final Fantasy 14.
They've got the new Vanguard, and I think that works across all platforms. So that's what we'll look at doing next.
Awesome.
So you're saying I have to get Call of Duty?
That's right.
I understand.
I only played that during one stretch. I spent 45 days at Al Jabar Air Base in Kuwait, and that was my only time that I took the time, because you had all that off time on your hands. I think we were working 12s at the time. And for that 45 days, I found out just, if I didn't already know, just how useless I was in all the hunting and team and all the sniping and stuff. But it's amazing where the industry has come and just how you can connect, to Marina's point, all y'all's point, with folks around the world via modern day video games.
Nice.
Okay.
Nice.
So we've got the links.
This one that my husband got me. It's pretty, isn't it? Look at how pretty it is.
Nice.
It's got pretty colors. Yes. Anyway, I'm sorry, Scott. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh, all good. We got links in the comments. We got links on the banner at the bottom. I want to, before we leave here today, we're going to make sure folks know how to connect with all of y'all. But Marina, we do want to brag about our friends at Vets to Industry, right? We partner with Brian and the whole team on our Veteran Voices programming. So how would you, if you had to explain in a nutshell what Vets to Industry does and why veterans and other, even non-veterans, should go check it out, what would you share?
Well, Vets Industry is kind of two-pronged. So what I would say is that it is probably one of the best resource libraries out there for veterans and military and spouses and families for resources for them to use. And gentlemen, like I said, I'm gonna need to talk offline so we can get Project Vet on there. If it isn't already on there, I'd have to look. But if it's not, let's talk about getting you on the website. The other part of it is networking events. So Vets Industry is really well known for doing virtual networking events where you do breakout rooms, and you're going to have all these amazing recruiters and veteran service organizations and supporters, transitioning service members, recruiters, all together in one place where they can all learn from one another. They can be educated on different things. We've had some amazing guest speakers, keynote speakers. Our next one, Jason Van Camp from Warrior Rising, also from Deliberate Discomfort, Mission 60. This is going to be really amazing. So, and that is going to be on December. Wait a minute. What's Saturday? Is that December 4th? I don't want to say the wrong day.
Yes, that is December 4th.
Okay, good.
You're right.
Yes, so December 4th. It is. So for West Coasters, it goes 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. For East Coasters, it's 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. You do not have to stay the whole time. If you got stuff you need to do on Saturdays, you come and go as you please. But just know that once you come, you're going to get addicted and you're going to want to come every single time. And there is specific military spouse mixers that happen at quarterly. We just had the last one on November 6th. And they happen, like I said, they happen quarterly. So it's about giving military members, transitioning service members, veterans, Gold Star families and spouses. And it's about giving that whole community hope.
Well said. And they do it by the truckload. It's amazing all they accomplish. Brian and Marina and the whole volunteer leadership team. Vets2industry.org, I believe, is the URL. And the networking events, people swear by them. It helps to connect, right? We all have these blind spots, especially as transitioning veterans. I certainly didn't know when I transitioned back in 2002, all the things that were out there. And I love the work that Vets2Industry does in connecting need with a resource in such a powerful way. So big thanks to all our friends there, Vets2industry.org. Hey, Donald Bourne is with us. Hey, Donald, hope this finds you well. He says, sorry I'm late, but he is adding projectvet.com, I guess, to Vets2Industry. Hey, that's pretty cool. Let's see, someone, and folks, when we get this here, it just means you've got a little, you haven't allowed your LinkedIn profile. There's a little privacy setting. That's why we're not sure exactly who shares this, but I love the comments. So I'm going to share it anyway. Vets2Industry is awesome. Their networking events are so necessary. He or she says, it's helped me tremendously. Marina is absolutely correct. Thank you. And December 4th. And he or she says, time flies. I stay the entire time. How about that? And that's Yolanda. Yolanda, I appreciate you and your comments here today. Okay, so folks, there's so much more to talk about. An hour never does it justice, but I want to wrap with this. Let's make sure folks know we've got your URL there on the Constant Wraparound, but how can folks connect with you, right? Marina, let's start with you. URL, beyond your URL, where should folks connect with the one and only Marina Rabinek?
Ooh, the one and only. Hey, girl. Hey. Y'all, this is me. I'm sorry, teal hair and all. I give no what's when it comes to I'm silly. That's just me. But if you want to get a hold of me, there is of course the website, like you said, and then LinkedIn. I don't really use any of the other social medias other than Clubhouse. When I do the Warrior Women Wednesdays, it streams both to LinkedIn Live, like you're doing via StreamYard. And then also we do it on Clubhouse at the same time. So those are really the only two places you can find me. I think I'm the only Marina Rabinek on LinkedIn.
Yes, we did our homework. That's why I called you the one and only.
Yeah, because it's
It's-
my husband's fault. That name is like not very. I was the same name as my maiden name. It's the same name as those shoes that we all had to wear, Bates.
Really?
Right? Remember those Bates boots, y'all? I know you do. See, Rod's like, uncomfortable as hell. Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, that's really it. You can find me on LinkedIn. You can find me on my website, and then my email. Marina.Rabinek@militarywomen'scollective.org.
Great. It's
It's a
just that easy.
long email address, but yeah.
Well, hey, make sure you tune in. Make sure you connect, especially with Marina on LinkedIn. She's a wonderful connection, a wonderful follow. I love you and a colleague did something like a resume session.
Oh, Lori.
Yeah,
Yes.
Laura does great work too.
Oh my goodness, Lori. So Lori is amazing. She actually helped me with my resume, and I'm so thankful to her. I mean, the changes that she made got me like interviews out the wazoo. I was going to say a different word, but I'm glad I didn't. Yeah, she is fantastic. That was her very first ever StreamYard LinkedIn Live, and she
Love
was like, Marina, can you please come on? Because I've never done this before. And I'm like, hell yeah, of course I can. And yeah, so we're hoping that she's going to do that monthly or quarterly, something like that. But I'm really excited for her because she gives so much back to the community. She's a volunteer with Vets to Industry as well. And yeah, love Lori to death. She's one of my
Awesome.
Wonder Women tribe.
Love it. Well, a lot of good work there. I appreciate you sharing. All right. So Rod and Jermaine, Rod, let's start with you. How can folks connect with you? Project Vet, Veterans Bowl, you name it.
Yeah, the easiest way, LinkedIn, of course. We're going to share all the links for any and everything on LinkedIn. And then email's pretty simple, rod@project-vet.com. So if you see me on LinkedIn, you should see my email. Send me a direct message on LinkedIn, and I'll get you all the information you need.
I love it. Okay. And you might be willing to talk a little University of Texas football chat, huh?
Absolutely. All day and tomorrow.
Okay. All right. Jermaine, same question, might be the same answer, but how can folks connect with you? And I think you're on mute. And there's infamous words of 2021.
2020. That's like
Yeah.
that's the words of 2020. I even had a background that I put behind me, like one of the green screen ones that says "You're on mute." 2020 motto or mantra.
Yeah,
So Jermaine,
LinkedIn, email is very similar. Jermaine at Project Vet. It's project-vet.com. And also, if you're in the North Texas area, come check us out. We have a partnership with the Texas Legends. That's the Dallas Mavericks G League basketball team. And we have tickets for veterans. And we'll even be kind of raffling off courtside seats for, four veterans each game. And also, if you're a vendor in the area and you want to promote your nonprofit organization, we can get you a table set up to pass out literature and materials. And we have a platinum lounge area where you can come and bring your family. So come check us out. We're trying to grow and expand our reach.
I love it. I love it. We look forward to live streaming again, the championship day. We're crowning the champion of Veterans Bowl. So stay tuned for that December 11th. Marina.
Absolutely.
God, I have a question for Jermaine and Rod.
Sure.
Are y'all connected with the Texas Veterans Commission? Like Paul Julio and a bunch of people?
I'm connected with Christina Mortel. We're actually trying to do some evangelizing through them. Another podcast with them. They have a podcast as well. So Texas Veterans Commission has been, helpful from day one prior to Project Vet. So I can't thank them enough.
And don't forget to sign up on our widget, the Whirlpool link. Sign up for the tournament there.
Awesome. We got that in the show notes and especially connect with Rod and Jermaine on LinkedIn as well, and Marina. All right, folks, the hour has flown past. It is wonderful to reconnect with each of y'all. I know we gotta go do some work now, Marina, right? But folks, hey, be sure to connect with each of these folks. One big thanks to Rod Lee and Jermaine Cohen, both with Project Vet, and Marina Rabinek with the Military Women's Collective. Great conversation. Hope y'all have a wonderful rest of your week. Hey, to our listeners, whether you're listening this, watching on the live stream or listening to the podcast replay, make sure you connect with Rod, Marina, and Jermaine in their respective initiatives across social or at their URL. Hey, be sure to, if you like this conversation, be sure to find Veteran Voices wherever you get your podcast from. Subscribe so you won't miss a single thing. But most importantly, folks, as I'm not speaking for all of our veterans here, I'm speaking just for me. We appreciate your gratitude, but more importantly, deeds, not words. Take action, right? The veteran community needs your help while they're serving, and especially after they serve. Find a way to support the veteran community. Really appreciate everybody's great, kind words today. We're going to sign off for now. Big thanks to Jada, Amanda, and Allie behind the scenes helping to make production happen. Scott Luton signing off for the Supply Chain Now team. Do good, give forward, be the change that's needed. And on that note, we'll see you next time right back here on Supply Chain Now. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.